What's up, everybody? Welcome to We Have Cool Friends, the cool show. We interview our cool friends about the cool things they're doing. I'm Greg Miller, and this is my cool friend, Nolan North.
That's me.
That's you in a Florida hat. I'm good. How are you?
It's not Florida.
California
that's California.
Hat. I don't know why I said, yeah, no, that was, well, that's, for the record, you're my first show back from vacation. And this morning I couldn't make a joke about a coffee pot to my wife. So you're going to have to work through the junk with me for a little bit.
You know what? I saw some of the stuff that you posted, and I like, there's a guy and it's campfire and sun's coming up, and you had like the most miserable look on your face. Like, why am I outdoors at this hour?
Well, it's, you know, it was just the idea that on the drive there, we stopped at a gas station. And on a lark, I said to my wife when she went in, I was like, if they have that Avengers gum, buy it for me. Laughing, thinking there's no way they'd have it. And she came out with 2 packs. And at that point, I was so touched that she actually bought the gum. But then I was like, how do I tell her I actually need a grand total of 8? And I was like, you know what I'll do? We'll pick it up on the drive back. And so then the entire drive down there and the entire vacation, I was worried about what if I can't find this gum on the way back and get all these pre-order bonuses or whatever.
Well,
I found the gum then, don't worry.
What's the Iron Man flavor taste like?
Oh, you know, hold on a second.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah! Yes!
There you go, Nolan.
I got you.
All right, that's what I'm talking about there. I thought you were coming through.
Oh my
Throw
God.
on the old Iron Man spandex shirt that shows way too much gut when it gets down there, but it's good up top. I look good.
You couldn't even see it in our little crop, Greg.
Oh, I know, but I had to show it off. I want people to know.
Just
you know,
cut
I can't
it, cut
lose.
it. Make it a midriff, man. Just make it a.
I can roll it real easy. Look, no, Kevin, can they see it now, Kevin? Can they see it now?
Yeah, they can see it now.
Perfect. Thank you. There you go.
They still didn't want to, though, just so you know.
I think you need to call Jarvis. Tell him to bring a razor.
Inside the suit, it can shave itself, right?
Jarvis, could you wax my stomach, please?
So, Mr. Nolan North, usually I bring people on this show and I have them do the whole introduction in the middle, like who you are and all that jazz. You're Nolan North. Everybody knows you. Famed voice actor. Famed actor in general. Of course, Port Charles. Google it. YouTube it right now. Look for that.
Pretty Little Liars. Big
exactly. Yeah. That one totally missed me at the time. And then somebody at one point when you were on one of the shows pointed that out. And I was like, what? And there you are. Doing your thing.
Yeah. I got so many people who would just... It's like, so my girlfriend's watching this stupid show, and all of a sudden I run in and go, that's Nathan Drake. What's he doing in a suit? Like, why isn't he climbing that fireplace?
When in doubt, climb. But it's one of those things. Usually I ask, what's cool? What's cool? What's going on in your life that's cool right now? I would assume the answer is it Avengers right now.
Yeah. Right now, you know, we're really heating up that kind of deal. What is it? It's being released this Friday.
It's one of those. It's one of those traditional confusing video game releases where it's officially out on Friday. You can get the deluxe, whatever enhanced edition, and play it tonight at midnight. If you've already pre-installed it, people are starting to play it now. Is the answer? Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's the one. Man, look at the shrink wrap still on it. What a huge fan.
No. Well, the thing is I'm doing an official unboxing, and I thought I screwed it up because I hadn't taken it out of the I took it out of the shipping box.
Yeah.
And then I hadn't, the last one I did I think was Uncharted 3 at Naughty Dog, and they had it all set up.
Yeah.
But it's weird because now I'm supposed to do it here. And I did like a practice one with some other stuff. And then to make sure I knew how to upload it properly and everything. And it didn't work. So my son is actually on the way to a store to get one of those iPhone gimbals, because now I want it to look good.
Sure.
So, and I'll do it and it'll be fun. And I'm going to post it.
Do you have those moments of reflection where you think about everything you just said and then think about when you just wanted to be an actor?
Yeah.
Right? When you just wanted it, and then it's even the traditional, when you became big in voice acting, when you could just show up wearing whatever you want, read the lines.
Yep.
9 years later, the game came out and hey, there's a paycheck. You're excited. Now you're talking about gimbals, making your son run around.
Yeah. It's funny because, I still want that. The great thing about voiceover is you're not limited by your appearance, and you can do it. I found out through this pandemic in a closet down the hall in my house.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're ever going to get me back to drive. You know, sometimes in traffic, Burbank's maybe 30 miles from my house.
Sure.
In traffic in LA, 90 minutes. And I would go there, do a 8-line pickup for a cartoon or something, and drive 90 minutes in traffic back. It's 3 hours of your life. And it's exhausting sometimes. I mean, I know I'm not doing backbreaking work, but it's just the traffic and just dealing with that. And I don't think people in most of the world understand how bad traffic in Los Angeles can be. It's just, and now, you know, craft services is my kitchen. I'm just chilling. I can go in there and now I can bang out a bunch of sessions and still have, meet my wife on the back patio for some wine or something.
Hell yeah.
So it's been, we're blessed that nobody's gotten sick, but I've been able to, get work done. And the idea of going back in the studio and doing on camera again, it better be a really good show to get me out of my house. I reached that age where I'm like, wait, I can make money here in my underwear. I'm good with that. Or not.
Has it all been, and this is weird, obviously, I always talk about this in the show. We start talking about things in our lives reflected by COVIDs and pros and cons. Clearly, there's way bigger things going on in the world in everybody's life than this and that. But I like the personal nitty gritty stuff of like, has it all been pro for you? I think, when, especially for you being somebody who obviously is in Avengers, known for Nathan Drake, known for being in the ping pong ball suit and going to a mocap stage and walking around, like, has that kind of work slowed down? Have you had projects like that have been delayed, or is it just you were already all set for just VO stuff, so it's fine?
A lot of that stuff was delayed. I was actually in talks with an on-camera show, a Netflix thing that ended up just going away because of COVID for everybody, not just me.
Yeah.
And there was a few weeks there where you're like wondering what's going on. And then these gaming companies, like I think Bungie was one of the first ones that, shout out to them. They with Destiny,
sure,
they called and they said, hey, we got to get this stuff done. We'll help you set up. They sent me like a card to get Logic because I had to record on my end. Now I'm doing crash courses and being able to handle that stuff. The closet that I put it in one of the bedrooms here, we actually, when we moved in, kind of used that room as a gym. We didn't use it. We set it up like a gym.
Sure, of course, yes, like most people.
Yeah. It's now a guest bedroom because we put that stuff in storage or sold it. But the Cat 6 wires were all up in the closet because the TV was mounted above the closet door.
Okay.
So I just yanked that down. So I'm hardwired to the internet, get Source Connect. And it was just basically, I had a good mic and I had stuff like that. Another shout out to Sweetwater. If anybody needs any, gear for music or voiceover, anything like that, Sweetwater, just the customer service there is just top notch. I mean, and they send candy. There's Sweetwater. It's a little sticker.
I was waiting for you to take off the California hat, put on the Sweetwater hat, and be like, and also the next season of Retro Replay.
yeah. I've already reached out to them, and I'm like, they're like, no, we have plenty of sponsors. We're not sponsored.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't.
Yeah,
need that.
they'll get the. That'd be cool though. I'm welcome. They can sponsor.
Your contact information in the YouTube links below.
Exactly. No, but it has been just the fact that I'm fortunate enough we are fortunate enough to do what we do during this time. And it's been, nobody's gotten ill at our house. My one son is 20 in college and the other one is 17 in his senior year, and he's a big football guy now. It looks like he's going to go kick a Division I football. So
last I talked to you, RTX 2019, I guess, right? Yeah, we had a whole conversation about how he's kicking insane, right? Like he's kicking from like midfield.
He's now can make 60-yarders, and he kicks the kickoffs out the back of the end zone, and he's
is he looking legit. At Mizzou? Is he looking at Mizzou for his college?
Okay, so But the only problem he did because as you know, my wife's family's all from Springfield, Missouri, and he's a Missouri boy. My youngest son already knows he's actually gone down to see his grandfather and cousins in Missouri for a week each time this summer. Was the first only person to get on a plane to go down there, put him in a mask, wrapped him in plastic, and sent him on a plane. But no, he wants to go into the family business down there. He's like, I just want a truck and a boat. And I'm like, all right, redneck.
Fit right in.
Yeah, no, but he's Mizzou is actually Kansas was another place.
No.
Yeah, but see, don't worry now. They're Big 12 and you're SEC.
Yeah,
Mizzou's
no, but the
SEC.
rivalry still exists. We can't let that happen.
I know, but Lawrence,
do you want me to put in a call to the athletic department? I can talk to somebody at the athletic department.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter. It looks like he talks to the coach at UW, University of Washington, weekly now. The coach calls him weekly. I think that's his first choice. Cal is in the running, Pac-12, Oregon. USC knows who he is. He's like, nope, don't care. Don't want to stay here. I grew up here.
He wants to get as far away from you guys as possible.
Yeah, but stay in the same time zone. And
exactly. Sure.
No, so it's him. My other son Cooper is starting college already, and he's been got into music, and he's now can shred on a guitar. He's going to be forming a band with some guys, and he's just so it's been nice to have everybody here and these hobbies and getting them to do stuff. Cooper, my son, came on to a retro replay with me. We started this thing called Father Knows Best with a question mark, of course, because it's me. And we did, we played the old Lego Star Wars because we did it when he was little. And we probably played it too long because, but now last week, I think we're going to be doing Fall Guys. He got me into that. And it's just, so we've been playing some games. We've been watching movies. I took him through the spaghetti Western trilogies with Clint Eastwood,
Sure.
So, we've been doing, grilling out, saving money, not going anywhere. I love that. I think I've filled my gas tank like 3 times in the last 6 months.
So is that another one for you where you want to talk about like the silver lining of all this, like getting to be with your boys, like in a time where historically you would be losing them the most, right? As they go out and become men on their own.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like they are, they're just steps away from doing their own thing. They do their own thing, but
sure.
With one leaving for whether it's Missouri or Washington or wherever.
You can just say he's not going to Mizzou. It's fine. I get it. You listed like 19 other schools above it.
No, he really did want to look into it. And the problem is, just side note, the big problem is he was supposed to visit Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Sure.
We don't know how LSU. He was going to get to go see LSU. But one of his friends signed there last year, and he's like, I don't want to. They have a bunch of people and. Anyway, Kansas, but he put Mizzou on the list because my brother-in-law went there, and of course you went there.
Of course, I'm the big influence. You can say that; it's fine.
Well, you are,
Thank you.
but it's just, they canceled everything. You can't even though Missouri's playing, they can't have recruits come visit right now.
Yeah,
so they're doing virtual things, but quite frankly, I'll be honest with you, punters and kickers. They don't always get, they're going to save some of the big stuff for that 5-star linebacker or whatever.
Priority stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But there is a time to do it, but they can't do it. So they had to cancel the camps they had this summer. They had to cancel all this stuff. And then of course, Pac-12 and Big 10 canceled their seasons in the fall.
Yeah.
My son's season was pushed to the spring. So, for him, it's been, he said, I'm just going to keep working out and see what happens. But he said he wanted to go to see Columbia. He wanted to go check it out because he loves being there. And,
sure.
and Mizzou Tigers. Yeah, I would love for him to go there. The thing is, I think they have some couple really good kickers. So you have to.
You say the word, I can get him thrown off the team. You know what I mean?
We got to get him thrown on the team.
No, throw the. Oh, I see. You mean okay.
Oh, yeah.
Then when I frame everybody. Okay.
Yeah. We can't do that. We
okay.
want to give everybody their opportunity.
Guys, this conversation is getting dangerous. There was that one actor that got in trouble recently for getting their kids into schools. Like we should stop.
They paid though. They paid.
No,
you know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
paying. I'm not paying.
Exactly. Me and Kevin,
No.
we do you a good deed. You know, I call the athletic department. I say I've heard some things about the punters and kickers down there. That's a different thing.
I've actually got some people that have watched his film and talk from pro kickers. Like he works out with John Carney, who was the kicker for the Chargers and the Saints, and he's like the number 4 on the NFL all-time list. He goes down to San Diego once a week. He drives 2 hours to work out with him. Martin Gramatica was a big-time kicker in the NFL, and just happens to be a friend of my brother's in Tampa, and so now the Florida schools are getting to know some things. So it's fun, but the funniest part is he's worked really hard. Football players work hard if they want to play it at that high level to graduate early, like a semester early. So he's eligible to graduate in December. So so then he can show up in January for spring ball as they prepare for the fall. Well, now with COVID, his season's going to be in January, and they said there's no room for you because we may be playing in January. So just enjoy your senior year, and it's no big deal. So he's going to be taking like basket weaving or something like that, just for it's like, okay, so your GPA is not affected. And then his mom looks, she goes, actually, you can take your English and math college classes online, get those out of the way. And he's like,
yeah, Mom. No, I don't. That's not what I want to do at all.
I really wanted basket weaving because,
of course, who doesn't need baskets? Yeah, it's a big thing to have around there. So, for both your sons doing such cool things and on the precipice of adulthood and moving on and stuff, at what point did they, or were they ever under? But at what point did they get over you being this big time voice actor, an actor in general? Was that ever like a cool thing to them, or was it always just Dad's job?
Always just kind of my job. I think as they got a little older, I think like even today, like, and again, it's because of the industry. It's not necessarily me. And I just was at the right place at the right time and just kind of became that guy. But both my kids still get a kick. They're like, hey, that guy knows you. Someone, and like that guy recognized you. If I get recognized somewhere, he goes, that's really cool. And they like that stuff, but I mean, they never really were. Wow, this is so cool. Like Cooper would play Uncharted games, and it was neat, but it wasn't something that he was like, wow, that like I'm something special. Because he'd be like, wow, my dad's Nathan Drake, and then he'd look out the window, and I'm picking up dog poop in the backyard, while talking in an interview with like the Washington Post. It's a weird life that I've had. But I think when they're around it, you're just in the industry and my younger son Jarrett always was really, really into Destiny for a long time. And all he wanted was, can you get the codes? Can we get it for free? I'm like, yeah, but we can buy it. He's like, well, my friend wants, can you get my friend a code? I'm like, I can just buy it. They take good care of me. He goes, no, Dad, it's not cool if you buy it.
Exactly.
And I'm like, yeah, we can get a code, I'm sure. And it's funny because even to this day, I'm always like, hey, can I get a couple codes? My son's friend, they're like, yeah. And it's like such an easy ask. So I'm going to have 400 Avengers codes.
Exactly. Come over to Retro Replay. We'll be giving them away in the comments below.
That's a great idea, right? I need to do that. I need to. We actually want to do more stuff like that, to engage with people, and I know that people at Square and Crystal and Marvel are going to help us with that. So we're going to have some cool giveaways and do some stuff, and it's fun, and I think that the Retro Replay has been fun because it's been a new way to kind of connect with those fans that I never really had.
That was definitely on my interview list in my head to talk about it. Like, how does it feel to be a full-blown content creator? Because I remember obviously when you and Troy started Retro, and I was like, oh, okay, they have no idea how much work this is. I'm sure it'll be something that they eventually get into and are like, we can't do this, and I'd understand that. And then of course now I look and you're a bigger channel than us, and I'm like, God damn it.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Kevin, I'm pretty sure. Am I right, Kevin? I thought I was right.
Well, I mean, if you guys are hiring, just let me know. If you guys need more help, it seems like
as long as you both will work for free, because I do.
Oh, I didn't say I'm leaving.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And if you take Kevin, that's salting the earth.
I require lots of money. Just to be clear.
Hey, you guys will appreciate this. The channel exists because of PJ and Drew, of what and how hard they work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like my biggest problem is like there's things I want to do, and then we'll look at each other in a meeting, and they're like, "Hey, what if we did this and this?" They're like, "That sounds awesome." You don't have the time to do that. We don't have the bandwidth to get that happening. But so, and we just want to keep growing as much as we can. And through the pandemic, it's been really hard because you're so limited. I'm gonna the next step though is, we've been trying to get back so where we could have guests, where we could do something like this. We'll call it Cold Friends.
Don't steal the name too.
No, I want to steal it.
God, damn it.
No, but this is great, and there's so many people that and I would be honored for you to come on and
anytime
and be a guest, because the thing is, it's like I want to we did the Uncharted 3 playthrough, and we had Amy and had the cast, and people really liked that. But then we noticed that there were a couple days where I said we got to break it up a little bit, and we didn't have because of scheduling, and this week everything's shut down, that week's not. We went live a couple times and did the live thing. Man, people loved it, and I realized it's like that hour and answering some of the questions and laughing with people and having a good time, and it made me. I think of you guys a lot because I think you're the model that I always look to, because you guys work your asses off, but you just engage with people, and you seem to have so much fun, and you're so good at what you do. I mean, honestly,
Thank you.
It's like I love that. And but there is a lot of work behind the scenes, and
God, yeah.
We are we're revamping the whole website, getting proper stuff. We're going to take a little more control of our own merch in the future. It just requires a lot of hours.
Totally.
But we have that core base that isn't going anywhere. It's reaching out to the other people, and I think it's getting more people on board to enjoy what we're doing, and it's not just games. We want to games. I want to branch off, and I do a lot of animation, and I want to sit down probably in a Zoom aspect, but with like Rob Paulson and Maurice LaMarche. I mean, Pinky in the Brain, and these are friends of mine that I've worked with for years on different projects, and I was a fan of theirs, and now I get to sit and be with them. So I want to branch out into animation. I want to get some of the people I've worked on in television, and I always want to have that. Go back to that. Whatever's new. What are you doing? Jack Quaid. Hey, The Boys just came out. Just getting in there. Bringing different people in. We had this guy.
For the record, we have Jack Quaid on, and we have Cool Friends next week, so don't take him. All right?
Do you really?
Yeah, we do. So don't take him before he gets here.
I won't. Promise.
Thank you.
No, this is a couple months away, but Jack's on my list because he's a great guy.
He's the best.
He's actually on Star Trek Lower Decks. Yeah. And I've done about 3, maybe 4 episodes of that. And just these but there's one character that I love, and I love the whole concept of the show, but one of the main characters I do recurring is he was an old man and a little boy that got just melded together in a transporter.
Sure.
So he'll talk like this. We have to get up to the upper decks because soon those guys are going to come all the way down, and we have to get back here or they're all going to die.
And he just we just keep going back and forth. It's so much fun.
Now, I have a question on that. So, like on a line of dialogue like that on the script, does it tell you when to switch, or does it leave it open to your interpretation of when you want to switch it around?
No, they came in. They said this is what its character, and we don't really know what it wants to sound like. And I suggested that, and they all looked at me. They go, "Wait, you really can do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, we can try." So it's just not there. No, it's
That's
just
awesome.
all over the place.
That's awesome.
Whatever. And sometimes we would just reverse it, like, "Hey, do that again," but just now start as the old kid and start as a little kid, then go to the old man, and then end with the little kid, or vice versa, or wherever. No, it's all kind of just comes out of your head at some point. You just hope you hope it works, but I don't know. It's a fun show. And then when I found out that Jack was Boimler, I was like, oh, that's really cool. So we never got, pandemic hit, and haven't done much since. We did it. I think the last session I did was from my house. So, and that's probably still being put together. So
sucks, man. I'm not trying to rub it in or anything, but I've been in the same room with him. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're so lucky.
Just letting you know that happened before COVID, of course. Everybody, don't worry. I'm still distancing and doing everything.
What were you doing? Is it secret?
I was watching him perform, and then we hung out, and I think we had a beer. It was pretty cool. All right, so
he's a good dude. He's
a great dude. Great dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he actually reached out to me years ago because he had this comedy troupe,
Sasquatch sketch.
And
that's where I found him.
Oh my gosh, I fell in love with that stuff, and he had me come in and do a few. I think I did 2 or 3 sketches with them. It's so much fun. You can ask him about that if
I probably won't have time. Probably won't have time to ask him about.
That's not nice.
And what you have a whole show? No, fine. I'll ask about you, Kevin. Make a note so I don't forget.
What?
Thank you. So talking about this, how you get to go in there and perform and do whatever you want with this character. Talk to me about the most recent one here of Iron Man. What we're talking about for launch week for Avengers.
Sure.
Like, how do they approach you? Did you go for a blind audition? Like, how do you come into something that is Iron Man that has been so defined, I think, right now in pop culture by RDJ?
Yeah. Shauna Sky, the director, was at Naughty Dog.
Yep.
We've known each other for years. And he basically called me and he said, hey, this is what we're doing. I want you to be Iron Man. You are Tony Stark. It's just he said, I know you. This is perfect for you. And it was like an immediate yes.
Sure.
Yeah, it was like, absolutely. I mean, it's a iconic character. It's an amazing character. I'm a huge fan of Robert Downey Jr. and what he did. And people always ask, well, what are you going to do? Did you feel pressure? And it's like, well, 2 reasons I don't. Number one, thank God it's an ensemble cast. So it's not like you're going up there and you're going to carry the whole thing.
You just have to be better than Travis Willingham, and Lord knows that's easy.
I don't know. He was really good. I got a funny story about Travis and I. So, but the other thing is
wait, no, tell the story.
Well, I'll tell you in a minute. No, but the funny thing about Iron Man is I have to, it's like I cannot if I try to do an impression or anything resembling what he did, it's always going to be compared, and I'm always going to lose that comparison because that lives in that medium, and so my version's going to live in mine. It's Laura Bailey made Black Widow her own. She didn't sit there and try to, well, let's see what Scarlet did. It's like, no, don't make it. Just make it your own. It's a different thing. It's a different look, different medium. I will say there's a few little, every now and then I would say a little phrase kind of in that cadence that RDJ would. Yeah. And it was more of like just a little wink, a little nod.
Give him a nod, yeah.
Yeah, because what he did is going to live forever. But, he did Sherlock Holmes, and, they didn't compare, you don't compare that to Benedict Cumberbatch. It's his version. It's his interpretation. And so I think, mine can be my own, and it's the only thing I can be responsible for. So back to Travis. So Travis and I, Thor and Tony would like, even in the trailer that they released, Captain America's like, Tony, Thor, check it out. I'm like, try to keep up, and I have to go and, boom, the blasters, you take off, and he swings the hammer and takes off into the sky. Well, now take that to the mocap stage where they're like, you got to Cap, try to keep up. And I just hands down, chest up, and I go on my toes, and I have to stay right there while they're finishing the scene. And the only thing, I look like Tinkerbell. And the only thing that's funnier than me is Travis Willingham, big muscular Travis, swinging this, and he actually had a hammer.
Nice. Up
into the air, standing right next to me, and then just looking at me like. And now we start trying to crack each other up.
Sure, of course.
To hold this pose. He's the Statue of Liberty. I'm like, it was just, it never failed to make us laugh. It was a great cast to work with. I mean, Troy crushed it as Bruce Banner. Laura Bailey was just amazing. Jeff Shine, who I didn't know before this, he's great Cap. He had that seriousness, especially with Troy and Laura and Travis and I. You know us.
Yeah, sadly.
Sadly. I don't know if it's our comfort level because we've done it for so long, and we knew each other, but Jeff was the one who had to be a little more the straight man, and he did it perfectly.
Yeah.
And I think Cap is the harder role than any of our others. I thought that, that's it's a tough one to play because maybe it's a tough one for me because it's like I can't be straight laced the whole time.
Yeah. Whereas Cap has to be.
I have to have, they would never hire me as Cap because I'm a wise ass. So that's why the Tony thing fit well, So of course everybody says it's just Nathan Drake in the Iron Man suit, but
I think this one he's more clever than Nathan Drake was. He's trying to be more sarcastic than Nate ever was.
Yeah, he would absolutely be the one who goes, "Why would you climb that?"
See, and then I see the ones I'll see people say, I saw it, I think maybe on the Avengers subreddit or somewhere, but I saw somebody make a comment when they were talking about it of just like, is it me or does Nolan sound as Tony almost like he's trying to be a lowered version of Deadpool? And I was like, I get it in terms of like, he's being funny, but your Deadpool is so much more off the wall than anything I heard Tony say in the beta.
Deadpool's kind of in here. He's out of his mind.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah, see,
it's three different. No, that Deadpool's completely different. That's no. I didn't see that.
I didn't see many people say it. I'm saying I saw that one person. Overall, I mean, myself included. I think I texted you after playing through the first time I played through the bridge sequence, where I was like, oh man, like I really like this version of Tony you're performing, where it isn't
I appreciate that.
RDJ, but it is distinctly Tony and Iron Man. Like I feel that version of it. I'm excited to see. That's one of the things,
though.
What to to walk that line?
No, to play the character. I went through the thing. Thor, I can do the hammer. I can't fly and shoot as Tony. I did the beta, and I was horrible. I'm like, oh my god, this is shit. I'd rather be Hulk, pick up dudes and
just smash things.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I think that, I'm just, whatever. If you're watching right now live and even later and whatever, I'm streaming my first playthrough of it tonight when I can finally get on it.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm stoked about it. And the thing I'm most excited about that I think is the unknown, especially coming off the beta, is the story. And I think that, bringing Sean on, obviously getting him from Naughty Dog, bringing him over there, giving him this project, and even the little bits we've seen teased out make me so interested in what this story is going to become. Because it starts as I keep, and I know you can't say anything either, but I know starting from, A-Day, where it is this, here it is, it's the boilerplate coloring book. This is what the Avengers are, of course, because we need to know who the Avengers are and get that set. But then to have it jump to 5 years later, to have it be this reassemble campaign led by Kamala, the stuff we've seen with her and Bruce and, on their cross-country road trip. Again, in trailers, we've seen them find you, Tony, right? With your long hair, this giant beard, yelling at Bruce. Like, seems like there's so much material there that I think's so interesting for it, let alone the fact that they brought, like you said, you guys are the clique, right? You are the top of the voice actor pyramid. To bring all of you on and do this, I think speaks to that they want to tell a story with this.
Yeah, and I think what they did so well is just, if you take heroes, this group of heroes, and they get knocked off their pedestal of what people think they are or what they expect them to be, and you get to see them them try to for the greater good try to make their comeback despite this conflict.
Sure.
What I think it's great is you've taken these supernatural type people, these superheroes, and you've shown their vulnerability. And I think that's what's most important in any good character. If you can find what made Robert Downey Jr. played that role so well in the movies is, his eyes, he has these puppy dog eyes. No matter what he was saying, you just could, he conveyed his hurt and his regret despite his boldness and his words and his boastfulness. So, they've done that in this game where you just see them, everything fall apart, and how are they going to put it back together, and how are they going to convince the world that it's important that they get back together, and because you know treachery is afoot, Greg. Treachery is afoot, and you're right, yeah, and it is, and I think it's a hard story to weave too because there's so many characters, so many personalities, and big shout out to Sandra Saad who as Kamala because she was phenomenal with her energy and her excitement to work on her first big project like this, and she was Kamala. So I mean, she's like, I'm working with all you guys. It's amazing, and that's what Kamala does. I'm with Iron Man and Thor and everybody. So her enthusiasm was just infectious, and her performance was great. She really stepped up, and it's a great character. It's a great story, and I just hope it does really, really well because I'm not ready to give up the suit. So I wanna continue with this.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I think if they keep introducing new characters they talk about, they're gonna have you in to record dialogue for them, so you should be okay.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. Just because it's fun. I look forward to when this COVID's handled and there's a vaccine or whatever makes us safe to go back into the studio and get back in there and make some more product for people to consume because it's
Totally.
this was a fun one. Good people, talented people, and good stories. And you get to be Iron Man. It's like I remember that time when I saw you in San Francisco, and it's like I'm doing Superboy, and then they called me and they said, "Hey, since Superboy is a clone of Superman, would you mind playing Superman as well?" And I was like, "Would I mind playing Superman? I'll bring my own cape." It's like it's a no brainer. It's so yeah. So I'm so grateful.
Piggybacking off that and a little bit of what we talked about of taking on Iron Man and this legacy, like you talk about not letting it get in your head anymore, that you're going to take on these characters and you're going to do your take and you're going to go out there and crush it. Is that something that you've had with your career forever? Or when you were getting those kind of roles the first few times, did you let it play in your head? And did you go read comic books and watch cartoons or movies or whatever to get references?
There were well, if I didn't know the character that well, like I did Wolverine and the X-Men was one of my first animated series I did, and I was Scott Summers. I was Cyclops,
Mhm.
and I had seen the movies, some of the X-Men stuff, but then I was like, I don't know much about Scott Summers. And then when I talked to the producers, like, well, no, he's more the Scott Summers from the comic books. And
You just nodded. You're like, got it.
I was
Understood.
like, okay.
Big fan.
And then
Talk
I
later.
ordered. I think the book is back on my shelf back there. The Ultimates or something. I also did.
The Ultimates. Nice.
I did the Giant Man for the Ultimate Avengers movie and poster. Got the posters over there. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a while ago. That was direct to video. That was like when they had DVDs and stuff. You could.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
But yeah. So there's when I did Giant Man, I didn't know much about Giant Man. So I'll go back and I want to know a little bit more. I just want to know, give me context. I don't need to know a lot. I don't need to I want to get in his head. It's like I do like a little context. And sometimes there's not enough time for that. And the producers who are just a walking Wikipedia will give you that kind of thing. Yeah, no, I mean, with other characters, I think like for Arkham Asylum, of the Arkham series, when I did the Penguin,
Hell yeah.
most of that stuff, I know the Penguin. I've seen a bunch of different versions of the Penguin, but I basically based that whole performance and the voice and everything on the artwork they sent me. With this bottle jammed in his eye and he kind of stuck on the side.
So even when I do the voice, I've got to crunch up my face because I don't know why. Because if I don't, it just doesn't sound right.
You're a method actor. That's why.
Now I just sound like Steve Bloom. but if I do, that's fine.
So it's weird. So, but no, I think there's a certain comfort that comes with, as you are, if you're fortunate enough to do this for as long as I have, I should know what I'm doing by now. At least I hope. So I think it makes it easier to trust myself. Like Cooper, my son, he's an actor, and the thing I taught him, I tried to teach him, is what I didn't trust early on is to trust who you are. That just playing you're enough. Just who you are as a person is more interesting than you trying to give them what you think they want. Just do this character as you. For example, it's like Nolan North as Iron Man, who happens to be named Tony Stark. It's like, that's kind of my take. And then, of course, and sometimes it's just the dialogue. It's like, there's things I would never say. Certainly things I would never understand Tony says. I mean, it's like, I can't program a coffee pot, but it's just that kind of thing. And when I approach all my like on-camera things now that way, just, all right, I'm just going to give them my take, because this is my audition and I'm going to give them my take on this character. Whereas when I was younger, it's like, I really want this, so I bet they want this. And it was almost like nobody can do a better me than me. And so why should I do an impression of somebody else doing a role? It's a very simple thing. It's hard to explain. Maybe I explained it. Maybe I didn't.
No, you did a great job, I think. And I
just think it's simple. If you find the simplicity and you trust that you're more interesting playing you than trying to portray something you're not.
Well, how many people are going to come in, right, and do what they think the director wants to see? And then you have 19 auditions that are exactly the same. And if you have few that are different, that somebody wanted to do something brave with or interesting with, that speaks to them, right? Hopefully.
Yeah. Sometimes. Because, there used to be a time when when you were auditioning for on-camera stuff, you go to a casting director's office and, these walls are like paper and you can hear what they're doing. The other guys are doing in there. And some guys would leave and some guys were listening, making notes. And I was like, I don't care what they do. And you kind of just block it out because you're like, I already know I'm going to just say it. And the interesting thing is, if it's written well, the best thing to do is just say the words. Just say them. It's just, not read them. You have to perform them, but
sure.
Don't try to. The worst thing that people do, especially with comedy, is they try to make it funny. It's like, no, the situation and is what will make it funny. There's one of my favorite lines in The Birdcage. It was from not Robin Williams or
Nathan Lane.
No, not Nathan Lane. The governor,
Azaria.
Who's the father?
Gene Hackman.
Thank you, Gene Hackman.
You're welcome.
Take two. I know we're live. Gene Hackman, when they finally reveal that Nathan Lane's a man, and he has this look on his face, and he goes, I feel like I'm insane. And he says it so genuinely, and his face is so perplexed. It's laugh out loud funny. Go back and see that video, guys, and you'll just, that one scene, he's a man dressed as a woman. Don't you say they're gay? And he goes, I feel like I'm insane. Like he was really worried for his health because they were trying to explain the situation he could not understand. And because he played it so straight, it's a testament to what an amazing talent he is. Oh, you brought it up?
Kev bringing it up. Look at this. Kev going for the gold star.
I don't know where exactly it is, though.
It's
Are we going to get claimed, though? Is this going to be one of those things where the whole episode gets taken down because we tried to find this scene?
Maybe just show you?
It's at the end when they reveal it all. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. I don't want to lose.
I just performed it better than Gene Hackman.
Damn, he said it. I was thinking it. He said it though. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. So we're talking about all this. We're coming off of Iron Man, and I think my question I had for you is, as somebody who's done so many video games and so many different projects, but stick with me, comparing something like Avengers or Destiny to something like Uncharted. The big thing on my side of the industry and as a fan and what we start talking about in every day on Games Daily is this move to games as a service, these ongoing worlds that keep getting stuff added to them, like Avengers, like Destiny, where you're talking about they hit you up and like, hey, we're not doing a full-blown sequel, but a big expansion is dropping and this is coming. How is that different for you as an actor than getting an Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 and Uncharted 4?
That's a great question.
Thank you. That's why I'm the best in the biz. Suck it, Jeff Keighley.
Wow. I think the thing is that it's it used to be where, you know, once it's a new title, new game, whatever, and I think that was because it was a new box. It was a physical, you know, actual. I mean, I know that they still have it, but it wasn't. Digital never existed like that. You didn't just download Avengers. You
Yeah.
went to the store, you stood in line if you had, and you waited for your copy. And as actors, a lot of times it was like, okay, this is one. Now for two, we have to talk about a new contract, and now for number three, and when it first started, a lot of people were like, you know, this is a little shady.
Because I assume, the contracts they're not in perpetuity,
like, well,
right? But they like,
right, but it's like, well, we're back. We're doing well. It's still under, you know, Destiny 1, and so his rate we already said for Destiny 1 is going to be this. And I think it took time for agents to kind of go, wait, no, you know, if you're going to add new content, you know, let's talk. And over time, and then, you know, so you would adjust your rate. You know, get a little bump. It's like, hey, we're on to the next one. You know, how about a little bump?
sure.
I think that's you know, now that they know you're doing that, it's just kind of understood that, hey, you know, you know, you don't ask for a fortune, but it's like, hey, you know, as it moves along, hey, maybe we can bump the rate up a half percent or whatever, 5%, 10%, whatever. Aside from that, I think it's pretty cool because it's cool for the gamer because I was just talking about this with a friend the other day. They'll have an idea of what they want to put in a game, and then they'll be meeting their deadlines, and then somebody goes, "Hey, you know what would be cool?" And they go, "Let's put that in too," and then games get pushed, and they're trying to finish it, and they're doing this kind of stuff. Um, you know, and then it's late. The release date gets pushed. What these DLCs and these add-ons do is, it's like, that is a great idea. Let's do that in 3 months rather than wait. I guess Uncharted was 90s. What? Two, I don't know. They were 1, 2, and 3 were like 2 years apart each.
Yeah.
People had to wait 2 years, and that anticipation's good. But if you were able to, like, it's almost like you serialize it to the point where, like, well, no, in 4 months you're going to get this huge expansion pack, and in another 4 months, it keeps everybody working. It keeps it, you know, it keeps new interesting content coming out for gamers. I can't wait to get this expansion pack. This thing. Did you hear about that? And I'm wondering on the dev side if they can dedicate certain teams to, like, you're on this next DLC. Hey, you guys get to take a break go for a couple weeks vacation, and then we're going to start on the one that comes after that. So, you know, rather than like build this massive cruise ship, you're building these smaller super yachts, you know, and you're just parading those out because, hey, they're not as big, so they're you know, we're avoiding massive crunches and time constraints. And I think it's more interesting on marketing how they have to deal with it. Like,
Sure.
you know, how do you keep it fresh and interesting that you know, what's the next thing? But you're right. Yeah, Destiny started doing that. I mean, we're still in Destiny 2, and it's been years.
Yeah.
Call of Duty with the zombies and all the DLC packs that I did with as Dr. Richthofen. You know, I mean, they just kept adding new things, and listen, it's successful, massively successful, or they wouldn't do it, right?
Of
I mean,
course.
you know these logistics better than I do.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right on the money about it. And I think it's just fascinating to see you get involved with it when, you know, I think in terms of, and stick with me because I know you've been around forever and you're the coolest dude in the world. But like when like Drake really put you on a map and you had that moment, right, where you were doing a million different games. And it was that idea that I have to imagine for you and the developers, there's this interesting math at some point where it's like, Uncharted would drop and we'd all play through them. And even if you played it twice or platinumed it, right, you're looking at what, like 20, 30 hours of playing this game and seeing all the cutscenes and absorbing it. But you compare it to something like Destiny, right? And I was just listening to the Kind of Funny Xcast this morning where Paris was talking about the fact that like review scores is what they were talking about. And I forget what he's like, Destiny got whatever it got, 6, whatever when it came out from IGN, 6.8 or something. It doesn't matter for this story, a lower score. And he's like, I've been playing that nonstop since then. And it's that idea that, right, like, even though I think people will always associate you with Drake with good reason, obviously, a career defining role, there is also that part of you where it's like, yeah, it's still fun, I would assume, to go be Ghost and have that pop up in Destiny and get, every 6 months or whatever, a new drop that you get to say something and what that means to those players and that community.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, I do a number of different things in that. I mean, I do Guild Wars, Star Wars, The Old Republic. Destiny is like that. I'm assuming Avengers is going to follow that model. Is that confirmed? I don't even know.
I mean, yeah, yes.
Are they going to be like doing updates and
yes, there will be story expansions. There will be new characters. There will be all those different things that, yes, they will call you for, I'm sure, to say, hey, say this character's name, do this thing.
Well, they better call me.
They better, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it only benefits the gamer, and that's what this is all about. I mean, I know, people are, it's so nice to be interviewed by you and do things like this, but there's a huge group of people at these companies and these development companies that work tirelessly. And I always, when I get on the line, like, hey, thanks so much for doing this from home. I mean, when I'm like, I always laugh. I go, you're paying me, right? I mean, you're paying me. I love this. I said, call me anytime. This is great. I'm in my sweats. I got coffee. This is great. So, it's, I'm always up for anything that keeps me employed and keeps me having fun, because my job is as much fun as people might expect it to be. And one of the things I do love about voiceover and in animation, gaming, anything, is I can be anyone and anything. Whereas it's on camera, I'm usually the doctor, cop, or the lawyer. Or someone's dad.
Yeah, now you're the dad.
Yeah, and which is fine. But it's but otherwise I'm an adventurer. I'm a little AI ghost. I'm a whatever. So there's so many, to be, first of all, just to do what I get to do. I'm super grateful, love it, have so much fun. But also, after experiencing so many of these conventions now, and then with Retro Replay and having this interaction with fans, you see how much it means to them. And, I was never a huge gamer. I just wasn't very good at it. And I just did other things. But this is this is someone's passion. It's their hobby, or it's their passion, and they're male, they're female, they're 8 years old, or they're 80. I met everybody in between. And I'm I'm proud to work in this and to do this, and to just for people say, how'd you get to where you are? I'm like, I have no idea. I was trying to feed my kids, and I remember somebody said, do you want to go do it? I think scale was like $790. It's 4 hours of screaming. You in? I'm like, yeah,
let's go.
I'm gonna scream at my kids for the next 4 hours. Let's go. And I remember doing that Call of Duty Big Red 1 expansion or something. I was Sergeant Randall, and you storm Omaha Beach with me. And I was a huge history freak. And so I'm like, this way, frag out, get down into the hedgerow.
MG42.
Yeah. And it was like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing. It has been it's been a privilege to do all this stuff. It's been so much fun. And I don't like to say it like I'm, like I'm out, like it's done. I mean,
you're not hanging up just yet. You're not saying it's all over. You're not retiring.
Well, oh my God, a couple of years back, they honored me with they presented it was like a lifetime achievement BAFTA. And I'm like, I'm not retiring, right?
Please keep hiring me for projects.
I appreciate this a lot. I really do. But I almost felt like people were going, okay, go away now. We've had enough. And you know, it's that East Coast self-hatred. That's just enough where you go, I'm sick of me too. All right, I get it. So, but these game companies keep bringing these cool new things. Hey, we want you to do Iron Man. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna do that.
Do you, in some regard, feel not that you're retiring or you're old or anything like that, but do you feel like you are this old guard? And like you talk about Sandra, you talk about Jeff, right? You're these people that are starting to come over and have these, again, I think huge roles. And I don't want to use career defining there, but I mean, like, you know, Sandra's on We Have Cool Friends 2 weeks ago, and it was this conversation of, you know, her being very frank of like, I was like, what was it like to be a lead in this game kind of thing we're talking about? And she's like, you know, you don't understand, like, people like me don't get these leads. And I was like, what or people like me aren't leads. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, people of color, women of color, like we don't get this kind of opportunity. And so I imagine, obviously, and I hope, I should say, maybe not even imagine, but maybe I'm being naive, but I hope we continue to see that trend, right? We continue to see more and more representation, more and more people coming in. Like, do you feel that when you start to work with these people that are like, oh my God, like even Jack, I assume to something, knowing what a nerd he is, of, oh my God, you're Nolan North kind of thing.
Yeah, that always, you know, I mean, we've known each other a long time now. And that still, when people go, oh my God, you're Nolan North, it's like, you need, you just, I don't see myself like that. And it's like, I never wanted to come off like this false humility. I really don't. It's like, I'm just a guy who's like, I'm just a guy who really likes to go to work, really likes to do what he likes to do. And I'll be in my car doing voices, you know, now it's research. You know, I mean, you understand, like if I wasn't in this business, I would be the guy everybody hates who's like at the water cooler going, hey, I saw a Christopher Walken movie last night. You know, and they're like, ugh, he's doing it again.
That's great, Nolan. Can you get me that TPS report though? Like I really need that now.
Oh, I'll do that. Hey, I guess it's Al Pacino. I'll go get you your copy.
Please get the copy. No.
Am I the old guard? Here's the
well, I mean, do you feel like that, or do you see that? Do you see that from people? Yeah.
No, one of the coolest things, especially in animation, because there's more opportunities for cast records. I would walk in, and I remember the first time I was in a room with Frank Welker, and I was like, I mean, I was just geeking out.
Yeah.
And you know, he found out I liked to play golf, and he invited me to go play golf. And I'm like, I'm going to play golf. And he calls me. He said, hey, Robbie Paulson's going to join us. And I'm like, oh my God, Carl Weezer. You know, and now, and I'm in probably my 30s at that point, and I was a kid. And you go in there, and you sit there with Tom Kenny or different, you know, and he's been doing it forever. But Peter Cullen, when I did Transformers, the first time. And I had been doing some work, but the first time I heard Autobots roll out, I just turned and I had goosebumps. And I remember Kevin Michael Richardson was sitting right next to me, and he goes, gets me every time too, man.
That's
and I was
awesome.
like, so I always look to those guys. And lately, yes, I've been in a session, and it does make you feel a little old, but someone to come up to me, like, hey, I didn't want to bother you before the session, but I'm a huge fan. And like, I can't believe I'm in a booth with you. It's like such an honor. And I'm going, me? You know, and then you look around the room. I was with, we were doing a project, and Jason Spizak, voice actor, and I were sitting there, and they're, oh my God, yeah, I love you guys. And I looked at him, I said, we're the old guys now. We've crossed over. We're that. And the great thing about it is those old guys I admired are still working. Thank God. They're still doing it. So you don't have to slow down. In fact, now roles kind of differ. You know, you're getting into different kind of characters and things that you want to do. So it's phenomenal. But yeah, funny story. I was actually doing a job, and Bill Fagerbakke, great actor. He's done tons of stuff. Most people remember him for Patrick Star in SpongeBob.
Gotcha.
And we were sitting there, and I was talking to him one time about, he did a television show that I loved called Coach with Craig T. Nelson.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And he was the football coach, defensive back coach, you know, and
Dauber?
I loved the show. Loved it.
Wait, was he Dauber?
He was Dauber.
Really tall guy?
Yeah, that's
shit, you know Dauber. That's
Fagerbakke.
cool.
So I know Dauber, and I remember I knew him. I didn't know he was SpongeBob, but now I work with him on. I've worked with him on SpongeBob, and I've worked on a bunch of other things, and gotten to know him. I mean, and we were working a session together, and as we were talking about coach and stuff like that, this kid tapped me on the shoulder, and he's like, "Hey, man, I just want to say I'm a huge fan. You absolutely made my childhood. And I appreciate it." I said, "Made your childhood? How old are you?" He goes, "Oh, I'm 25." And I'm like, "I made your child." Oh my God. I'm thinking, I was so old. And I was laughing. And I think who was, it was Kari Payton. Kari Payton and Bill.
Yeah.
We were talking. And Kari looks at me and goes, "Makes you feel old." And Bill looked up and goes, "What?" And I said, "I just, because of the games and stuff I've done." He says, "Makes your child," he goes, "Oh yeah." He said, "I hate that. Makes you feel old." And I said, "Yeah, I know. By the way, Bill, you made my childhood." And we just had the biggest laugh, because it's just what comes around goes around. And it's great to see people, and the great thing about the voiceover community in particular is nobody feels threatened. It's just, there's roles that, good. That kid has a younger voice. He should play whatever that, but if I'm going to do the old scientist, I like doing some of the quirkier things. It's just, it's great. And again, with Sandra, the fact that she was able to come in and do that, and you could see her, like, look at us the same. I said this earlier. Look at us the same way that Kamala was looking at those superheroes, and what was really good is that she didn't shy away from that. She didn't try. She wasn't self-conscious, or she embraced that.
Sure.
And she asked questions. She was humble, and she was just a delight to work with, and I wish all the good things for her. And I think, and she kills it in this role. She kills it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Even just a little bit, I've seen the beta. Big fan of what she's doing out there.
Me too. I'm a big fan of hers too now.
Yeah, real quick to put a pin in all this and end that part of it is just, I wanted to say that I think what's shocking, I was at one point looking at my phone over here. I was trying to find our first photo together, because I still have it from an E3, and it was after Uncharted 1. It must have been the lead up to Uncharted 2 or whatever.
Really?
Meeting you there and getting a photo with you there, because I'd have Sony PR introduce me, where they're like, "Oh, Nolan's here." I was like, "Oh my God, let me meet this guy." And it's just, you were the coolest, chillest person. And to your point, and this is at the risk of sounding like I'm blowing smoke, which I wouldn't do, because it ruins our adversarial joking relationship.
It ruins the dynamic.
Is that you are still the same guy now as you were then, and that's long before Uncharted was this giant thing as it is now, and your career is this. You were as well known, I guess, right? And to what you're talking about of voice actors not feeling pressure, or seeing someone as a threat, right? That is the thing that has, and will continue to, I imagine, astound me from day one of starting Up at Noon and having voice actors on, is that every one of you who would come in there was the nicest, humblest, most down-to-earth person. I will never forget bringing Rob Paulson in, and we flew him in, and we'd have the car pick you up at the airport and then bring you down, and we would have lunch there or whatever. And I remember when we brought him in, and then we gave him lunch, and we were doing stuff, and he just kept saying, "You guys are treating me like a celebrity." And me and Brian were both like, "You are Yakko." Like, no, you are a celebrity. You are this thing. But none of you have ever given off that air. And every time I've asked any of you for anything, you've been there in a heartbeat. I always talk about it like, Nolan, filmed the first thing we ever did for Up at Noon was the thing where the gag where you shoot me for not giving it an 11 or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was shot before we ever shot an Up at Noon. That was a bit in the pilot it was a bit in the pilot that never aired. And then later on we reused it in just another one. But it was that we shot that not even knowing 100% what that show was going to be, but you're like, "Yeah, let's do it. I'm all in. Let's go." And you were up there, for the day we brought you in to do a bunch of stuff. And I think talk about the Uncharted art book you'd put together and stuff like that. And it was just like, you were down to do it. And to the point too, and I swear I'll stop in a second, it was just sitting here, just telling everybody how great you are. Like, the other thing I love about you, and I think this is voice actors in general, but you especially, is that you're such an example of your profession and how your role in a game or a project like a cartoon, you understand how the sausage gets made. Because every time I have you on a panel or I see you interact with a fan and they say that, "Thank you for making my childhood. Thank you for doing this thing." You're like, for Uncharted especially, right? Like, you're welcome. It's a pleasure, but don't forget about the dogs. Don't forget about Naughty Dog.
yeah.
They did all this stuff. I just get to come up here and take the glory for it. But there's, hundreds of people who made this happen.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, but it's yeah. I mean, there's the old saying, the play's the thing, and I don't know if it's the way I was raised or whatever, or just came into that. But when people get self-important, I stop listening, and when if I'm going to if I want people to listen to me when I'm portraying a character or something, I want to be genuine. I don't want that. And I just, the great thing about it, you talk about Paulson, he taught me, he didn't have to, but I saw him do this all the time. And I just started doing it. And somebody said, "Oh God, you're just like Rob." And it's like one of the kindest compliments. Rob Paulson to this day will walk out of a set. We've worked together, and we'll walk out. He'll go, "Guys, thanks for the work. Appreciate it." And, you see these, most of them are half our age, his age now, and close to half mine at this point. But they're like, "Rob Paulson just thanked me for hiring him." What is he? I mean, like, Rob Paulson always thanks it. It's a lesson that I watched him do. And I told him one day, I said, I took that from you. I do that too now. I want people to know that it's like, yeah, you have a lot of choices. There's a lot of talented people. Thanks for thinking of me. Thanks for bringing me in. We don't expect anything. And I think when people expect things, you stop working hard. You stop hustling for what you it's not about need. It's about what you want to do. I'll have a busy week and I'll just be, oh, what a great week. So busy. And then when things are slow, like I just had another series I do, they just push 2 weeks. Usually Mondays we do something, and they had to postpone 2 weeks for scripts weren't ready or something. And I always get that email. I'm like, because we love when you love to do, and whatever you do, if you're a plumber, you're an electrician, you're a school teacher, if you love to do that, you're going to be successful at it. And that's it. It's just that that gratefulness, gratitude, and enthusiasm will carry you a long way. And I don't ever want, and I got too many friends that fly out here and beat me up if they see me getting any big from my britches or something like that. But no, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I appreciate that's kind stuff, and I'd say the same to you. I mean, you've gone on to all the success. I've seen you do panels and host of stuff. You work your tail off, but every time I talk to you, it's the same. And that's the kind of thing I appreciate in people when they just, they just are consistency. Consistency is so hard for people to maintain in this world for some reason. Strive for your goals and go be successful as you want, but no, at the end of the day, you're the same person. You just have a bigger schedule. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, if this was a normal show, I'd end it there because that's so great. But I still have more questions, and the friends have questions.
I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, just making sure. Then, Kevin, let's pay some ads. Remember, this is, of course, We Have Cool Friends, Kind of Funny's irregularly scheduled weekly programming where we interview our cool friends about the cool things they're doing. You should subscribe to this show, of course, on youtube.com/kindoffunny and podcast services around the globe. Thank you to our Patreon producer, Mohammed. Today, we are brought to you, though, by MeUndies and Honey. Of course, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunny, support the show there, subscribe, and you get the show ad-free. You didn't do that necessarily wherever you are, though. So today, you're getting the ads. Let's talk about first, MeUndies. MeUndies wants to talk about underwear. Like, seriously, they have a lot of feelings about it and want to chat with anyone who will listen. So here it goes. MeUndies wants everyone to feel comfy as heck with the freedom to express themselves. That's why they make the world's softest undies in classic colors and fun prints like dinos and surfboards. Whatever you put on every day, they want you to be comfortable being you. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we love MeUndies at Kinda Funny. I, of course, only wear MeUndies as underwear. You've heard that story a bunch, though. What you need to know is that Tim Gettys is obsessed with MeUndies. The other day, I drove to his house to drop off some paperwork. He came out, MeUndies t-shirt, MeUndies lounge pants. I think he had MeUndies socks on, and he told me he had MeUndies boxers on as well. This man has a problem, but you have the solution if you go to MeUndies.com. Of course, MeUndies is serious about softness. Like, so seriously, they scoured the world to find the softest fabric known to man. It all starts with sustainably sourced beechwood trees that magically turn from pulp to yarn to undies. Undies that kind of feel like heaven on your skin for comfort from the outside, literally to the in. Keep your undie drawer stocked with MeUndies membership. A subscription sends new pairs right to your door. Plus, you get site-wide savings and exclusive sales. MeUndies has a great offer for my listeners. For any first-time purchasers, you get 15% off and free shipping. This is a no-brainer, especially because they have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. To get your 15% off your first order, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/morning. That's MeUndies.com/morning. And our second sponsor of the day is Honey. You've heard me talk about Honey before, and if you haven't, well, guess what? You're about to save some money on the internet. It's super simple. We all shop online. Honey saves you money when you shop online. How, you might ask? It's simple. You go to the thing, you put the URL I'll give you. Hold on, I'll jump ahead and spoil it. Joinhoney.com/morning. Joinhoney.com/morning. You go there and you install on your browser Honey in like 2 clicks. Then what happens is when you check out online, they have that little coupon code area. Honey pops up. It's this dancing coin, and he goes through and or maybe she, I don't know, finds all the different codes you could use. Then you select the one you want to use or the best one for your purchase. They put it in. You save money. Bada bing, bada boom. You just save money on a T-shirt or on a Funko Pop. These are all things I save the money on. However, it gets better. If you actually log in like I did with my Google, it then starts starts accruing Honey coins that you can then exchange like I did for an Amazon gift card. Not card. Honey is great. Maybe you could save up enough for a car, though. I don't know. Honey's great. I love it. Like I've said, I did all these things. It goes through, apply coupons. Yep. You know how it is. It's the easiest ad that I don't ever read the bullet points because I literally use it every time I buy something online. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free and installs in a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/morning. That's joinhoney.com/morning. All right, back to Nolan. Hey, Nolan, how are you?
I'm feeling honeylicious.
Did you install Honey yet? I think it's pretty easy. You know what I mean?
I'm working on it right now.
Thank you. Joinhoney.com/morning.
This is them honey coins.
This is what we call the friend zone, where the kind of funny best friends write in with questions for you. However, I still didn't get to my biggest question because, of course, we are privileged enough to be friends. We talk every so often here and there. I'll run into you usually at conventions. Now we just text about BS every so often.
Yeah.
What I haven't caught up with you about, which is crazy, at least on camera, is how are you in a post Nathan Drake world? I think we did a lot of coverage and I hosted a lot of panels in the lead up to Uncharted 4 and Naughty Dog saying,
what do you mean? How am I?
I want to know how you're hanging in there. Like, do you think about this? Like, you have your big old Nathan Drake statue behind you right there. Like, do you miss the character? Do you think about that? Am I obviously, and I voice act here and there, everybody, but not at a professional level. Am I thinking too seriously about this? Like, is it just another role, another job? You're done. You're happy with what you did.
It's something I'm always going to miss.
Yeah.
You know, I said earlier, you know, we did the playthroughs on Retro Replay 1, 2, and 3, and we just are finishing up 3. I think Thursday is the last episode, and you know, we have you know, Amy Henning's going to be joining us, Emily, Richard, McGonigal. So great memories putting that thing together. It's a decade of my life, and like you said, you know, I mean, it really was a career defining and career changing and life changing experience. You know, it was just especially, you know, especially the first 3 with Gordon Hunt, and we were trying to figure out what we were doing and how it, you know, you know, we I think we did each of those in a different studio. First one, you know, so we're trying to, you know, it was like the next playground that we were going to get to play in. So I miss the relationships. I miss seeing those people, but I've made lifelong friends. I talked to Richard McGonigal. He's moved to Maine, and you know, doing this with him. He was on most of the Uncharted 3 definitive playthrough, you know, sessions we did and episodes we did, and he had a ball with it. You know, Graham McTavish is still one of my closest. Through Uncharted, became one of my closest friends. He's in Scotland, and he just was shooting something. He was at St. Andrews. He knows I'm a golfer and I've never been there. And he just said, I've spoken to them here and they will never let you play. And and of course Amy is amazing. Emily Rose, I don't know if you know this, she and my wife formed a production company.
No, I didn't know that at all.
They've sold a show, a miniseries to MGM that they're co-producing and is starring Renee Zellweger.
Oh my God, what's it called?
No title yet, but they're signing director. They just signed their director that I can't really talk about yet because I could get in trouble.
Yeah.
But it's a huge deal. It's I think Band of Brothers in a type thing, but it's amazing. So these people are still part of my life, and it's just it's and that's what I have a couple of buddies who are former Major League Baseball players. And they will talk to me about it. They said, we don't miss playing, but we all play like golf together or something. He said, but we have our clubhouse. He said, that's what I miss. He said, and I still have that. So yeah, I don't get to put on and play Drake, but I still have those relationships. I still, talk to all those people, and I always will. I mean, that's those people are they're in the inner circle forever now. So I am excited, to see if like Amy puts something together in the future. I know she's got some great. I think she's at Skydance now and doing things. And I just told her, I said, I don't care what it is. I'm you have
sign me
to
up.
have me. You have to have me. Because we, especially when you work with someone for a long time, you have a certain shorthand, and it makes everybody's job a little easier. So, post Nathan Drake, it's okay. Especially with the talk of the movie, people are, you should be in it, whatever. It's like, we did 4 movies, 5 if you include Golden Abyss.
I do.
I do. Me too. And I think it's one of those things where, if they ever said we want to do another one, I'm 100% in. Sure. Sometimes like secretly when I go work out, I do think just in case I ever have to get back in the suit, because you just nobody wants to watch Drake waddle around just like, I don't think I want to climb that. But no, I think it's one of those. I have to let it go, right? I have to kind of step back. But the great thing about games is it lives on forever.
Of course.
And
every day someone finds that for the first time.
Yeah. And the one thing I found about those games, and I haven't played through 4 yet. I haven't done that, but I can't wait to go back and play them again. The one thing about those games, I think, is that they have amazing replayability. Now, you would know better than I, but it's like you could pick that up and go, wow, this still holds up. The story certainly does. And what Naughty Dog was able to do, I love seeing what the Naughty Dog was able to do with the PlayStation 3, what they knew during Uncharted Drake's Fortune to what they did for
Uncharted 4.
Uncharted 3.
Last of Us Part 2, anything? Yeah.
Or Uncharted 3, because then it went
you're talking about just PS3. Sorry.
Yeah, the PS3. And then they get the PS4 and what they did with Last of Us, and then Last of Us 2, which I got this play through a little bit on Retro Replay. I mean, it's stunning. If it didn't scare the Jesus out of me, but stunning visuals and mechanics and what they did. I mean, that game was it's ridiculous. And now we're going to PS5. Really?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
right?
I don't even know. I don't know I don't know. I don't know anything.
You said something. I will get to the friend zone here with the questions. This is my final one, I swear. You said something interesting there that jogged a memory for me. You said you're talking about Uncharted being Drake and how it was like a decade of your life.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in the run-up to, I want to say Uncharted 4, but maybe it was Uncharted 3. But I was at IGN still, I remember. Washington Post or The Guardian or somebody did a big profile on you and the success you were finding. It was a mainstream outlet, right? That was like, here's Nolan North. He's the voice of video games. And in there, I remember there was a throwaway line that we debated so much at IGN, where you said something they were like, and then North has to go on a call about this next project. And there was a quote that was like, and that'll be the next decade of my life. And I remember us going crazy with the whiteboards and like, is this, we were thinking it was Arkham for a second, but we were like, that's already too far gone. They're not going to do that many, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. What the hell was that project? It wasn't Destiny, because Destiny you weren't on yet.
I think I could say this now. I don't know. It was Star Wars. Amy Hennig had a Star Wars project at EA. Yeah, and I had with
that makes it hurt so much more.
as many U's you can put in that. It was it was tremendous, and we did a bunch of work on it.
That was Project Ragtag, right? Yeah, like who
Ragtag.
were you going to be in that? And if at any point you can't answer any of these questions or don't want to, don't worry about it.
I don't know if I can. It was
okay.
It was a bounty hunter type character. It was kind of, think of a kind of a Han Solo type character, yet without the moral compass.
Oh,
so it was interesting. And I wouldn't even say Han Solo. No, because there was another character who was like that, but he was a bounty hunter, and it was different from Drake, but he was a little more. It was so great, and there were some other great characters, and it was a great cast of people, and that was a real disappointment when they did that. And that's when these things were coming out, like people don't want
single player games
or narrative driven games,
yeah.
things like that. It's like, this is, what do you mean? I mean, yes, they do. I mean, I understand it's a game. We know that, and there's games that people, my son loves Fortnite. I remember my mom called me recently. She's like, "Are you in this Fortnite?" I'm like, "No." She goes, "Is everything okay?" Because that's the big hot game. I'm like, there's a lot of different games. But it's interesting because they there's always room for that type of game. There's always room for just multiplayer type games and cosplay. Co-op game. There's always parts that some people. There are gamers who've played nothing but FIFA or Madden, and they have no idea who I am, and that's awesome. You don't have to, because no matter how much they want me, I'm never gonna, mocap Messi's moves on the mocap stage, But it's one of those things where it was such a heartbreaker because we were having some serious fun on that. I don't even know if I can even mention some of the people on there, but it was a really cool cast, and it was and I knew where the story was mapped out for the first one, and then probably going to be a trilogy type deal.
Sure, of course.
I kind of looked and I was like, wow. And it wasn't as much of like the fact that, you're employed, as much as you're employed by doing this. It's going to be fun again. Just that kind of fun for that long. And it. People often ask, they said, "What's your favorite Uncharted to make?" And I say 3 without hesitation. They're like, "Well, what was wrong with the other 3?" I said, "Nothing." I said, "But 2 was a huge success. We started 3, we're back, and I knew they were going to, it was 90% sure they're going to do a 4. So I knew this wasn't the end. 4 was great to make too. Different groups, obviously the things that happened with that, but different groups came on. But 4 was, 4 was one of those things where I was waiting for that. When's my last day? Oh no, this is going to be the last day. And they, we want to do, they talking about, Neil had talked about, want to give Drake the proper send off. I'm like, yeah, you sure? I know, I get it. Are you sure? Because I never want to take anything away from that as well, because, it was a hugely popular game, great game. And I'm actually looking forward to playing that one. It's just one of those things where, I often tell people it's like high school. Like Drake's fortune was like freshman year, nobody really knows you, but you have a good year. And then sophomore year, oh my God, you become the captain of the football team, the president of the class, you date the prettiest girl, and everybody loves you. So junior year is a breeze. And then senior year comes along, you're like, I got to go to college or get a job. at the end of this. So that's all.
Okay,
Junior year is a good one.
One more thing for me, because it's something I think I don't think about it a lot. For us on the outside, even people who are commentating on the industry, I feel like usually when you get to recording mocap and voice actors and all that jazz, the game's pretty locked in that this is going to happen. Am I wrong about that? In your experience, does something like Project Ragtag getting canceled happen often or no?
In my experience, no.
Yeah, okay.
You know, when they make that, I mean, we did. I think we were 8 months into Uncharted 4. 8 months into Uncharted 4 with Amy before they switched and revamped and restarted.
Yeah.
And then with Ragtag, at least 4 to 6 months shooting. We had a bunch of stuff. They had done that I shot because it was an ensemble and they had done some other stuff with other characters.
Were you playable or were you just like a supporting cast member?
No, playable. And there were multiple people that you'd play as. So you'd go off on like, I mean, almost think about like when you go off in like if regular Star Wars, you'd go to Dagobah, you're going to play as Luke. But then if you go to the Cloud City, you might be a character. So yeah, no, it was, and I think the mechanics were, but it was visually stunning. I mean, what they were putting together, EA was doing, it was just amazing. So it was just really cool. No. Usually by the time they've invested that much time and manpower and money, you'd think they're going to go forward. So
they'll see it through.
Yeah, when that was pulled, and but you know they made a decision. They didn't want to do this narrative thing. I think they wanted to do more of just like, was it Battlefront, right?
Yeah.
Which has some story elements, but for most part isn't. So, and that was at that time when that debate, like we said, was narrative-driven games don't really sell. And it's like, did you watch Uncharted? Did you see The Last of Us? Did you see some of these things? I mean, yes, they do. And I don't know. I don't know the inside.
Of course,
ins and outs of the whole thing, but it's happened less often in my experience. And the funny thing is, like, that debate just kind of it was there for a few weeks, for a month or so,
over, and then
it's gone. And it's like,
even EA then put out Fallen Jedi or Jedi Fallen Order, where it was like, that's a single player Star Wars game. You're like, all right, cool.
Yeah, you know what? There's probably all kinds of inside things going on that I'm not privy to.
Of course.
So I don't know. It was just a shame. I think it would have been an amazing game.
All right, moving on to the friend zone, where the Kind of Funny best friends can write into patreon.com/kindoffunny and ask you questions. We're going to start with Briar Rabbit, who writes in and says, "Hi, Nolan.
Hi.
Huge fan of your work. Have any of your friends and family seen your work, and what were some of their favorite responses? I liked your mom calling about Fortnite, but does it ever happen where your family members randomly run into you in a project they didn't know you were in?"
Yeah, my brother, during the pandemic, he's like 7 years older than me, and he just he popped in some games, and he said, I just pulled up this thing. It was like this game. He said, all of a sudden I realized, wait, Nolan used to do that I think that's Nolan. And they looked it up. He goes, hey, she calls me. Is this you? And I'm like, yeah. He had no idea.
Dark Void? Was he playing Dark Void?
He was not playing Dark Void.
Okay.
I don't think anybody was. But my favorite is, I once had to take my mom to the airport, and I had a session in the morning toward the airport. So I said, you're going to have to come with me. And of course, it was Call of Duty as Dr. Richtofen. Nice. And it was just the zany. So now every time I call her, she'll be like, oh, is this the doctor calling me? She does the voice too. So
that's where you get it, right? That's how it's how it all started.
She always had voices for our animals, our dogs. She was just as nutty as I was. So maybe I owe some of it to her. Sure.
Mark from Australia writes in and says, hey, Greg and Nolan, I wanted to write in and ask Nolan, how did he get the role of Dr. Rickhoven in Call of Duty Zombies? What was that audition like?
It was so long ago, I don't remember.
Yeah.
No, I just, just did my kind of like the zany German, because he was really, and I think this was around the time that You know, where I just started booking a lot of things for whatever reason, and I think you know, one of my things I always said was I always want to go in, get there, be prepared, get there on time, try to finish early, but also I really considered it part of my job to entertain the people I was working for in between takes, have fun, because it keeps me loose. I have fun. And if we all have fun, they're going to hire me again. So I think that's one of the reasons I started getting hired so much. And that was just an amazing, I remember, I think the first record we did may have been all of us. And it was, you know, Steve Bloom, Fred Tatasciore, Tom Kane. These are friends of mine, and we had a blast. And I honestly don't remember the first time it all happened. I had done some stuff with Treyarch. It's been so long, I honestly don't remember. But it's just, you know, that Hogan's Hero, Zany Drim, and just kind of doing something, and I got lucky, and they hired me.
Here comes Josh C, who writes into patreon.com/kindafunny, just like you can. It says, "Hey, Mr. North. I'm obviously a big fan of your work, and one of my favorite characters you lend your voice to is Superboy on Young Justice," and then parentheses, and by extension, Superman. What has been your favorite part so far about working on that series and voicing such a now iconic character from it?
Thank you for that question, Josh. I think my favorite part is that I've been able to work with some amazing talent and had a blast with it. You know, Kari Payton, Danica McKellar, I mean, Jason Spizak, you know, everybody that's involved in that thing. It has just been awesome. What is going? No, new audio device. Don't switch. I'm right here. So I think it's the majority of the Superboy, Superman, those sessions have been a cast record. So we were able to all do it together. So you'd be there in the studio together, laughing, having a good time. I got to work with Ed Asner sitting next to me, Danny Trejo, Lacey Chabert is my daughter, because I also play Zatara and she's Zatanna. It's just the people who come through there. I mean, the first season it was Bruce Greenwood as Batman. So Bruce Greenwood and I are working together, and group of people to work with, and Greg Weisman and Brandon Vietti, who write and produce the whole thing. They're as big of fans of that franchise than anybody watching. So it's nurtured and it's loved. It's the people. So the short answer is the people I get to work with make that so special.
And then your final question, piggybacking off of that, comes from Drew Tendo64, who wrote into patreon.com/kindafunny and asks, what character have you not had the chance to play, and why do you think you should bring them to life?
You know what? I get this question a lot, and it's hard. It's hard to answer because I have an answer I'll come with, but it's I always am very careful. I don't ever want to covet a role that is probably done by a friend of mine or somebody else that I respect and like. And like, I remember I've had auditions. You sent auditions like for a Wolverine thing. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to be doing a Steve Bloom impression. Nope. It just, there's certain roles that, you know, how am I going to outdo that? I mean, I can't. And even if you like, well, but you can do your own take. It's like, no, that's him. So I don't really, you know, and then I think, so I start going through the list of superheroes and iconic characters. And if they're iconic characters, they probably have a voice behind them. Sure. I'll answer this because I do know a cool character I'd like to play. Everybody talks about, oh, they took this video game and they're making it a movie. And I think it should be just the opposite. Because what happens in a movie, it's a passive experience. You know, we'll see if the Uncharted movie does well. It's a good idea. Where was Drake in his 20s? But will people who are used to being Drake, you're Drake, if you're playing that game, not me. You're making him jump, run, do those things. So when you then ask to sit passively and watch something that doesn't do what you would do, sound the way you think it should sound, or there's a disconnect, and I don't know if that's the problem. Let's make movies into games. And one of my thing I think would be great, and I'd love to do this, is Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Was a phenomenal book, phenomenal movie, both the original version, and then this one. And I would play Michael Blomkvist. I think it's a great character, but the main character would be the girl with the dragon tattoo. And man, think about it: puzzles, car chases, gunplay. She could fight. Side missions to take out that scumbag that beat up her friend.
Yeah.
It could be dark, I just think it would be interesting. And
that's a really good one.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be an interesting character, especially to, do performance capture for and do that kind of thing. And I'm probably getting about that age. I'm right in the pocket.
You were born to play this role.
Yeah. And I know, I mean, I don't, and if you, Greg, ever came to me and you said, hey, I know a character you should try. Because then I do it. The only other thing is, like, I think I keep talking to Marvel about doing another Deadpool game.
Yeah,
and I've talked to Ryan Reynolds, and I'm gonna get him to do a cameo, make him do one.
Great, perfect.
Because I think he can use the money. Because I think he just sold his.
It's sad to see somebody like that fall
for
from grace. You know what I
million.
mean? Yeah. Sucks, man. You know what I mean?
Hard to see a
Especially after
guy.
Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Nolan, thank you for being one of our cool friends.
Thank you for being my cool friend.
Where do you want people to come keep up with you?
You can watch Retro Replay on YouTube. We're starting some new things, and we take suggestions, and we love having we love our community. You can follow me at Really Nolan North on Instagram. I'm getting better at it. And Nolan_North on the Twitters. So awesome. That's where I'm at. Come follow, come hang out. I don't really have much to say, but when I do, you shouldn't listen.
No, don't listen to him ever. Ladies and gentlemen, that's another episode of We Have Cool Friends. Remember, it's an irregularly scheduled program. Next episode is Thursday, September 10th. Jack Quaid from The Boys shows up to talk to us finally. And we got him before Retro Replay did. You won't watch it.
I will watch.
I'm going to give a code word in the middle of the show to you and see if you tweet it at me later on. So there you go.
Well, just remind me when it's on.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.